actually begin this video, this review, I want to preface it with this following statement. Nowadays, in the tabletop hobby world and in the world in general, it's very easy to see lots of things through a political lens. I'm not going to do that. In this video, or on this channel, or anywhere else, any other social media account I have, anything that falls under the Mike the Warhost umbrella, for lack of a better term, will not dive into politics at all in any way. If you want to argue about politics, you can go literally anywhere else on the entire internet and do that. I'm not going to do that here. Any statements I make regarding race or ethnicity are purely from an artistic perspective, trying to achieve a specific result for miniatures on the tabletop. I am making no judgments on any race or ethnicity. I am making no statements about any race or ethnicity. This is just about painting. If you want to argue about some of my results or my classifications and claim this is coming from a place of privilege, nothing I say here is coming from a place of superiority or condescension or privilege. I'm just a guy who likes to paint little plastic and resin army guys so I can play games. That's it. Any other conclusions you're reaching are 100% pure projection. If you try to read anything else into it, I want you to stop, take a deep breath, go outside, and touch some grass, please. All right, how's it going, everyone? Mike the Warhost here, and today I'm finally going to be doing a video that I've been meaning to do for months now. I've actually cropped up on an entire year at this point. A while back, I picked up the Army Painter Skin Tone paint set. I had a chance to play with it a little bit and really liked the results. If you've seen any of my Warrior Nation pictures on Instagram, then you've seen the results of some of them. So what I'm going to do today is go over what exactly you can do with these, generally how they work, and what kind of results you can expect with some handy barbarian models that I grabbed off of Thingiverse, I believe, and printed off. These ones I did with a zenithal highlight of black, white, just to help show it off. I did pick models specifically that had a great deal of exposed skin, since that's sort of what this focuses on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these three painted up with onyx skin, tiger's eye, and opal, just to help show off how this works. So I will be back once this is done. Okay, so here we are with the initial base coats down. When you get to this point, there is one thing I am going to recommend to you that I have learned. It is trust the process. It doesn't look like a whole lot now, especially the opal skin over the white. That looks very, very pale, almost albino. And the onyx skin looks almost really cartoonish. Once you get through the entire process, it will improve. One thing I can probably recommend is maybe be a bit careful sharing work in progress photos online, because it can be very easily construed as almost a caricature. From here, we are going to switch over to washes. Go with the dark skin wash here, the strong skin wash here, and the soft skin wash here. So we'll be back once all that is done. Okay, and here we are with the washes done. You can see things are starting to be a bit more realistic, especially one on the right here. It's looking much less albino and unhealthy. It looks more Scandinavian. We're also seeing a lot of some progress with the darker tones. There we go. It's a little bit tricky to see right now because there's some light reflecting off of this guy here. But yeah, it looks much less caricature-like. Now we're going to start on our first highlights. Go with, use some pearl pigment toner with the tiger's eye skin we used for him. And then for the opal skin, we are going to switch over to the garnet pigment toner. See how that turns out. All right, and here we are with the highlights put on. Honestly, it made the most difference with the middle one here. Things stand out a bit more. Here, the highlighting effect tends to be is a lot more subtle. I think it's also just because this one has a bit gloss finish from the wash. It is there. It does look quite a bit more realistic than it did initially. The one I'm less thrilled with, though, is this guy here, the sort of Scandinavian. Guide listed has you use the opal skin with a mix of the garnet pigment toner, and I'm just not a big fan of that one. The way that turned out. The other two though look really good. This guy, like I said, this guy here in particular, he's the one that sort of turned out as my favorite. So what I'm going to do now is just to help tie everything together, I'm going to finish painting up everything else on these three, and then show them off so we can see the final results. So here we are with everything else painted up. All of the previous white areas just got a simple base coat and a quick wash. Probably not going to go much farther with these guys because, again, these are just test models for the paint schemes. Overall, I have to say the results that you get from following the basic guide, basic how-tos from the Army Painter site will produce pretty good results. Again, I'm not entirely satisfied with the ginger here. I think he just ends up being way too pale. This looks more albino than anything else to me. I even tried going back and doing a quick pin wash with some of the soft skin wash, and starting out with a base coat of just the opal skin is too much. So what I'm going to do is I actually have 2 more of these ready to go. So I'm going to try a couple of different things. First off, I'm going to try a more darker, for lack of a better word, skin tone that will still read mostly Caucasian. And then I have one more. I'm going to try something in between these two here. See what I can do. This will probably work out well for skin tones or models that will be traditionally from somewhere like, say, the Indian subcontinent or southern Asia, possibly a bit Middle Eastern. So I will get those painted up real quick, and we'll finish things up, and I'll give you guys my final thoughts. All right, so here we are with my own homegrown examples. As with the last ones, these aside from the skin, these just have a base coat and a wash. And I have to say, starting from the left, I really like this Caucasian result a lot more than the one provided in the example from Army Painter. This one here looks a lot more realistic. This, like I said, this is ginger vampire than anything else. Probably get away with it by probably do a bit more with some of the pigment toners, but honestly, I think just the opal skin is way too pale to do anything except for an Irishman who has never seen the sun. This guy looks a lot more healthy, for lack of a better term. Like, honestly, this barbarian looks like he would be perfectly at home surfing on a beach in California. This guy looks great. The way I did him was this one here. What I had done was I did a base coat of topaz skin and a soft skin wash, and highlighted a bit with ruby skin just on the top points. If you go through and highlight a whole lot more highlighting, build it up, it will definitely look better. This was just a quick result to see what I would end up with. Here is the next one. This is more of a more of a darker skin tone. It looks very similar to this one here, although he appears a whole lot bright, a bit brighter. Not quite as dark here. What I did for him was pretty simple. I started out with a base coat of mocha skin, then a strong skin wash, finally some highlights up with jasper skin. Now it can be a bit tricky to tell just with the painting style I did. It's still very quick, but the results are pretty good. If you decide to build up, I can see this working out very well for skin tone for someone from Southeast Asia, around the Indian subcontinent, possibly Middle Eastern as well. This would also work pretty well as a good starting point for a Native American skin tone. What I would recommend doing for that, which is pretty close to what I did, is add a small amount of the garnet pigment toner to the initial base color and then build up from there. So here we go. Final observations and final thoughts. The Army Painter skin tone set is a very convenient way to give you easy access to painting a wide variety of skin tones for obviously human models. It's possible to recreate this with other paint lines. It's not going to be as easy unless you're able to really pick and choose. The convenience factor of having everything available right there really helps, especially if you're doing a large number of models and you want to easily have some variety in different skin tones. The downside is the batch that I got a little bit older, so that means you're going to run into the same separation issues with the paint that you will with really anything else from Army Painter. You're really going to have to shake these, especially washes. You can see very dark one here has a bit of a gloss sheen to it because I only spent 60 seconds shaking the dark skin wash bottle. Agitators do help, but again, I highly recommend getting a vortex mixer and not skipping arm day at the gym, because Army Painter paints, while they're pretty good, you really have to shake them up and mix them up really well to avoid having lots of problems with the actual pigment separating from the medium when you go to use it. Other than that, I think this, if you're trying to get a crystal brush or a golden demon, this is probably not for you. You most likely have your own system for doing various skin tones that will work for you and get you much better results without a lot of the hassle that you're going to have from Army Painter paints. If you're just a regular run-of-the-mill painter or wargamer and you just want a quick and easy way to have a collection of models with all sorts of various skin tones, you want to be able to tweak your skin tone recipes for different people or for different ethnicities, this is a very quick and easy turnkey solution for doing just that.